Hi everyone, welcome back to a video. It's been a while. Thank you for all those who have stuck in there with me, and I am hoping to get my channel started up again. I'm going to be kind of slow going, kind of nervous actually about starting it up again, but I figure why not give it a try? Dealing with a lot of health issues and stuff. They're still ongoing, so who knows? But like I said, it'll be slow going, but let's give this a try. My desk is a little messy, so forgive me. I'm kind of been pulling the whole multi-projects at once thing, which is not normal for me, but I'm in currently the Allison Davis pattern paper play, I think is what it's called, that class. And so I'm doing that, and then I'm trying to organize, and I have these layouts, which you probably can't tell. Let me take this. This is a 12-inch T-square ruler, and the pile is about at least yay high, almost 6 inches. So there's a lot here. So I thought, as a good way to kind of come back to making videos, I would share my layouts that I've done. This is probably at least a year's worth. I don't remember when the last time I put layouts into my albums was, but when I finish a layout, it goes into a little cubby. It's basically one of the Recollections cubes from Michaels. Just one of like the little shelves in the whole 12 by 12 cube. And that's where they go. And then when that's full, I'll go through, divide them by year, like this is 2016, and then I will put them in the albums from there. So it just kind of is what works for me. So, but this stack, this was more than just one shelf worth. And I have they were like half hanging off, they're curled. So I have more than I have room for. So it is time to put them away. And that goes along with the organizing as well. But let's get started. Now, before I get started, I will just say that some of these are absolute scrap lifts of somebody. Kind of last year, I was just on this kick of really enjoying, I don't know, really kind of enjoying scrap lifting people. I didn't really have to think about, making the pages. So I literally scrap lifted the entire thing. And so because I wasn't really prepared to do my videos again, I didn't save the scrap lifted pages, but I will in the future. For example, this was a page somebody wasn't using this collection, but I really liked the pool photos. So I went ahead and scrap lifted it with the Doodlebug collection. I will say, if I know that I scrap lifted them, I will let you know. I may not remember. Like I said, some of these are from like almost a year ago. So with that said, let's just get started, and I'll talk about them as I go. And I will try to do this kind of quickly, since this is since there's so many of the layouts. So like I said, this is a single page. If you guys know me, you know I do both single and double pages. This was a layout. It was a scrap lift from somebody, and I just really liked kind of the water feel, this kind of ruffled up bottom. And this is a very old Doodlebug collection. I honestly don't remember, but a lot of their collections are fairly similar. So any of their most local summer collections will work. So that is the first one. This is using a Felicity Jane kit, and I got together some pictures to go with the Felicity Jane kits, and I did these at a crop. I did a bunch of these at a crop. So this was like I want to say one of the Chamel or really older sketches. And I don't remember if this was a photo or not, but I had the big photo, so I just made it fit. And it was really good because Felicity Jane's, if you know their kits, they just didn't have a lot of embellishments. And this page just didn't really need too much more embellishing. It looks really pretty the way it is. So there's that page. This is another one using the same Felicity Jane kit, I believe, where again I used up most of the embellishments as it is. But really loved how these, thought it was really pretty photos with, these are my daughter's senior photos, so that was way back in 2018. That tells you how far behind I am. This was a sketch, probably. Most of these will be a sketch or a class, so I don't believe that was a scrap lift, but it was at least a sketch. There's this page. This was in a class that I did with Simple Stories. Janny Eubank was doing them for a while. Not sure if they're still doing them, but it was like a monthly, you would basically get like a whole kit, and then you did a mini album and a bunch of double pages or scrapbook pages. I'm not doing it anymore because I don't do mini albums anymore. So, but this was a really pretty beach collection and I really liked it. You'll see more layouts with this collection as it is. So all of that came in the class. Then here is a double page. This is using an Easter Doodlebug. Guess I should have moved my layouts over. They're kind of making a shadow, but that's okay. Let me try this real quick. Does that help with the shadows a little? Can you tell I'm unorganized? I mentioned I didn't know what I was doing, right? Okay. We'll try to make this work. Sorry for the shadows. Easter collection. I'm using, before I stopped making videos, I was doing one and done. So I'm still pulling from those kits and working on the one and done. And this was a sketch, more than likely a Scrapbook Generation sketch. This layout I just finished earlier today, and it is for the Allison Davis Pattern Paper Plate class. It's been a fun class, a little bit more challenging, but enjoyable. So got this one, and I don't really know what else to say. It's great for a lot of scraps. If you have a lot of scraps or 6x6 paper pads, that's a really good class for it. And that was using Bella Boulevard Birthday Blast, I believe. That's a lot of B words. This was also from the Allison Davis class. And as you can see, it's just basically playing with pattern papers. So this was triangles or patterns, different like shapes and stuff. And I did actually stitch along the hearts to make it look kind of quilt-like. So that was, it took a little bit of work, but I really loved the results. I was kind of disappointed the journaling covered up so much of it actually, but happy with the results. It was, and I found these photos of the blankets my mother-in-law made my kids, and I thought it went well with the kind of quilt looking vibe. So there's that page. And if you have any questions, since I am going kind of quickly through these layouts about anyone, you can let me know. I'll try to answer as best as I can. There are no videos on any of these as far as I can remember, but I'm pretty sure none. So there is this one. This was a sketch or a scrap lift of a page. Pretty generic though. So I did this. I will show you the little spiders I made using a black enamel dot. I basically just added little legs, and I know there's not the number of legs as there usually is on spiders, but I just thought it was really cute, so I added those in each of the little sections. There's this page, and there's not much to be added. I'm not sure. I feel like this is just a really plain page, but I feel like it's good. There's so much going on that it's good, you know. It documents us riding the ride. So I think I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it. So again, it's just a different page for me. It doesn't have my white background. Looking at it on camera though, it looks pretty good. So there's that page. This page was from, maybe this was from Crop and Create. Virginia Neville, I think it was how you say her name. I think she was the one that did this. It was all these little photos, and it just worked out perfectly. I changed it just ever so slightly to fit my theme. Maybe the title, but that was about it. And it's just really fun. It's different. It's unique. And at first I was like, what is that? But I like how it turned out. So pretty happy. This was, I believe this was a Paige Evans. She did the Make With Me Mondays, which I absolutely love. And I'll share some of those here. Look at my letters are coming up. I'm glad I sewed them down. So she was doing Make With Me Monday a lot last year, like every Monday, and I just really had so much fun. I would watch it and then get out my stuff and start making my own things. So there are a few of her Make With Me Mondays in here, and I love them. Again, this was a Felicity Jane kit, so since, again, there's not that many embellishments, I really enjoyed using for these smaller layouts. So this is off of one of hers. This is also a Make With Me Monday that she did. She basically does them live. She does them every once in a while, just not every Monday now. She does them live, and like this week you got like a cut file so you could cut these hexagons with your cutter or whatever, and I love how this turned out. This one I used one of her collections with, I think Bloom Street, but it just went so well with these photos of my daughter. So this is one of my favorite layouts of the year. Same thing with this one. This is a Make With Me Monday. Very busy. Trying to grab it here. Very busy, but fun. And I thought it was just perfect for this photo of my daughter. And again, it doesn't have my normal white background, a lot of white space. I mean, white space, yeah, we won't go into that right now, but it just was fun. And used up more of the Paige Evans collection, so I like how this one turned out. And I liked it so much that I did a second one. I actually think it's possible I did this one first, but I was just playing and I had a lot of these scraps left over and decided to do a snow layout with these pictures of my son, or this picture of my son. I thought the green really picked up on the green. It's like almost the same color green. So again, it was a Make With Me Monday with Paige Evans. And I had that collection out, so I did this layout, which I think was a scrap lift, but not of this actual collection. Just a scrap lift of a page I saw somewhere. And I had some of these die cuts, and you know these can get pretty big, and I'm not into large die cuts. So putting them on circles and kind of adding them as part of the element of the circle. So I basically glued it down and then cut it out with a circle cutter. It just kind of adds them on there, but makes them not so huge. So it's a really fun way if you've got some large ephemera pieces that you're kind of like, what am I going to do with this huge thing? Try just maybe cutting part of them off and adding them somewhere. I really love how this was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, I forgot about that page. I really like it. Here's another one. And what was this? A scrap lift from something, but basically the scrap lift had like 3 layers and 3 colors. And I had like these random house ephemera pieces. Again, you can see I've really tucked them in. They're big, and the house wasn't really part of the theme of the page, where, here, like, this is a puffy sticker of theirs with this tiny house, but here's this ephemera with this giant house. So instead, just going with the color vibe of it, and everything kind of in the teal, aqua on this line, and the blues, really kind of, it was fun, and it got the products used, but they're not like right in your face, and I wasn't afraid to cover a lot of them up, like, for example, the houses. But had 3 houses to bring around, 3 trees, just other little animals, just trying to use them up, because you know me, I love my doodlebug and wanted to get a lot of this up. This might have been a kit that I had for One and Done. I can't remember. But again, there's no videos, so I guess that doesn't matter. But I do plan on continuing the One and Done series. Here is another layout. This was just kind of using up more, again, a lot of ephemera, not as much paper. So using up the ephemera, I just kind of like this Yeti guy with my husband. And then this big thing at the top, I thought it was kind of fun. I even sewed like a little string that it would be hanging from. And it kind of started to go not so good, but then it actually turned out okay. And then to add that, I brought in the sewed drops for the snowflakes to bring that all around. And this one was just kind of a fun. Again, here's another piece of ephemera that I kind of hid in the back. So going through these is a little bit nice because it's bringing back more ideas that I was doing last year that I forgot about. Okay, another single page. This was a scrap lift. This was a Make With Me Monday, I believe, from Paige Evans. Again, the squares, just kind of placing those around. And then I've had this like hanging snow ice die for a while now, and I finally used it, and I love how it looks. It just looks really cool. So that is a goal, and something I've actually been doing so far this year is using my dies on my layouts. Because if I'm going to spend money on them, I want to get them used. And I'm finding I'm buying less ephemera because ephemera is so expensive now that I'm buying less ephemera and either going back to old kits, you know, because all of Doodlebugs match most of the time. You know, so all of Simple Stories, well, Simple Stories changes, but some of the companies will kind of have the same colors. So instead of buying an ephemera pack for each one, you know, thinking I might have some of those same shapes, and also what do I have in metal dies that I can use. But we'll talk more about that as I make videos again. This, I'm wondering, must be a single page. This is just a single page, probably was a sketch, I don't really remember. And it's kind of simple, but it was fun to do. Got the photos journaled or documented anyways. So I like the little Yeti guy like hiding back in the trees. So you can see I had a lot of this collection left. That's another thing I'm doing, again, to go along with the spend less, scrap more. I just have been buying less papers and stuff. So we'll, again, talk about that later. This one was fun. I actually stenciled some blue snowflakes in the background. This was a scrap lift. I can't remember where from. But I really, really loved how this one turned out. Again, just kind of little simple clusters sprinkled here and there. But a lot of my dies, actually, you probably haven't noticed, but some of these, this is actually a snowflake die that coordinates with this Doodlebug collection. And a lot of these layouts have these snowflakes because I was like, I bought this die, I'm going to use it. So for example, this page, and I do the stacking where I like to do 3 white cardstock pieces and then the pattern paper. So this one is this one, this one, this one. That's all I can see right off the bat. But all of these pages that I've done with the winter have had the dies. So also with with the icicle die, I also have this snowflake layered up, these snowflakes, that one and that one. So I really made sure before I even put that die away. I mean, this might have been, I thought this was an older collection that I was just using up, but I think this was one that came out maybe not this last winter, but the winter before. I don't remember. Sorry guys, I'm getting old. I just don't remember everything. This was a scrap lift. I want to say maybe either off the Doodlebug blog or design team. But they had some stuff around coming down and then 2 pieces of paper up above. So yeah, I love this picture. I'm so happy with this picture. It just happened to capture right at the right moment. And I'm so in love with it. But it was a scrap lift. I didn't use any of the metal dies on this page, but I really wanted to use these like ephemera pieces that look like falling snow. So that was pretty perfect. And I stenciled snowflakes. Then this is going back to that same Crop and Create class. Same class by Virginia Neville. I did my totally own thing. I loved what she did, but I just wasn't able to pull it together. But I did cut these kites and popped them up. If you can see that, I'm not really sure. And kind of did my own thing, but I really like how it turned out. And that is that double page. I feel like that needs a little bling or something, but I'm not going to worry about it. I have this page. This is such a sweet picture. I think it was probably a sketch, and I went ahead and added some little sprinkles of stars in each of the clusters. My monkey, he's my monkey. Yeah, I don't know really what else to say. This is an older collection. I don't know by who. Like a really old collection, maybe even Echo Park. So this was one that I was trying to use up the collection. I know that for sure. Oh, here's another one with that same doodlebug. Is that the only? I guess it's a single page. It looks like it would have more along here, which you could totally expand this if you wanted. But I loved the mountain border at the top. Lots of photos, even though it's a single page. And yeah, little scene again, made some little scenes. That is the fun thing with doodlebugs ephemera, you know, is to make little scenes with them. So there's that layout. Here's another layout. Now this one I know for sure is a scrapbook scrap lift from the Doodlebug. When they came out with this collection, there was an example on like the collection to show what it is, and I totally scrap lifted it. What they had where these white snowflakes was an acetate piece, which I didn't buy the acetate piece when I went to go do this page, and I was like, okay, what do I do? So I just stamped white snowflakes with like whatever that ink is that you can heat emboss, and then I put white heat emboss powder on it, and it's really imperfect, especially right up here, but it turned out really good. So I like it. And again, this is different for me because there's no white cardstock, but I'm happy with how it turned out. So yeah, there's that page. So that was a total scrap lift that I could actually, I know where it was scrap lifted from. Here's another page. I feel like all these pages, they must have been really sitting up there and they're bent because they're all like wonky. But this was a pretty cute photo. My son drew smiley face in the snow. So the photo turned out pretty good. And I'm not really sure what else to say. I did use metallic thread to make these little, like, where the snowflakes are coming down. I don't know what you would call those, but again, this sweater, ephemera, just kind of tucked it in so it filled up that spot. But I like the hat on the corner of the photo because it kind of mimics his hat a little bit. So and again, I used those snowflakes that were part of this collection. If you know, which you probably do, Doodlebug has like somewhat coordinating dies to go with their collections now. So I made sure to use those. So that's that page. Here is another. This was the paper that came with the Crop and Create, but my own sketch. I'm pretty sure it was probably a Scrapbook Generation sketch. I didn't really, or it kind of took from the sketch and took from the class. I don't remember who taught it, but I made this layout from it, and so I really like how this turned out. Just wasn't crazy with the one that they had, so just kind of made it my own thing. But this collection is really pretty. I'm sorry I don't know the name of it because it's not one I would normally buy, but I'm glad that I have a few layouts to make with it. And here is, this was also from the Crop and Create. This was a class by Becky Adams. I love her classes. I would take her classes all day long, Monday through Friday if I could. So hers was kind of playing with shapes, I think, as well, and just different patterns. So yeah, and this collection is by Simple Stories. Don't remember the name of it, but it is a Simple Stories Fall. It's a couple years old now. But I just loved her class. And I think I followed it fairly close to the class, all these pages. So this is from the same class. Thought I'd share. This is actually a mountain, a little hill mountain area near us where the trees, they planted purposely so when they change color in the fall, it makes a smiley face. So it was pretty fun. That was my first time ever seeing it. I thought that's pretty cool. So I liked the title, Happy Autumn, Happy Face, Happy Autumn. So yeah, just thought I would share that. I love that one. This was also from her class. So this is my daughter, like at her home. She decorated her door for the first time for fall. Thought that was pretty sweet, and I got a couple selfies. Same collection, same class, just different page. This one as well, which this one's different for me, and I really enjoyed it. The tags, and did the zigzag stitching on the sides. Again, if you've noticed, there hasn't been white cardstock background for these, and I just really love them, so I need to take a look at these again. But same collection. Sorry, I don't remember the name. This one is from Crop and Create, different class. This is also a Simple Stories collection. It was like, I don't know, something about food. Sorry guys, that's all I got for now. I wasn't prepared to have to tell you guys the names. But this side was originally a pocket page, and I do pocket page Project Life, but not unless I know what's going to be on both sides and it's all like the same event. For my regular albums, I won't do a pocket page because I don't scrapbook chronologically and I would have no idea what was on the other side. And so I just put it, I took from Dorothy Guinan, Scrapbook Quebec. She does kind of like this where it looks like a pocket page, but it's on cardstock. So I took a note from her and did it that way. And then this is kind of like the main page, and then these are the backup photos. So I really like how that turned out as well. Again, but this was, like, this page is how it was in Crop and Create. So, yeah, thought I'd share that. And then, oh, this was Back to the Fall class by Becky Adams. And I love this one as well. So, yeah, got that one done. Did some white splatters. They look like they're turning kind of cream-like, but that's okay. Goes with the vibe, I guess. This was also part of that class. This was an Allison Davis kind of like extra class when you sign up for the Crop and Create. She was showing how to use small pattern paper strips. And I tell you, this was so simple. It looks busy. It looks like it took a long time. It didn't. It was really, really simple. And it's something I would definitely use again. And yeah, I think this was a collection that was part of the class, like group of classes as well. And we got a 6x6 or something, or I had the 6x6, but it was using a 6x6 pad, but any scraps would basically work. And I really loved the layout. So I changed a few things to work for me, but for the most part, it was the main array that was what was the class. So this is back to using Felicity Jane. I think this is a different Felicity Jane kit. One of these, I fussy cut one. Maybe they're all fussy cut, the flowers. Just, again, trying to make my own embellishments. Wasn't really crazy about this one at the beginning. I do like how it turned out. It throws me off a little bit. These are kind of bulky, but it's okay. I like the layout, so we'll just stick with that. And it actually looks better on camera than it does in person. Sometimes it is just that way. Maybe because you guys are looking straight on where I'm looking at an angle. But that's this layout. This one, again, using a Felicity Jane kit. Maybe the same one as that one that I just showed you. Really got a couple Felicity Jane kits used up. That's on my goal. This was probably a sketch that I followed. I used some embossing paste. What do you call that? Texture paste to make these little hearts for some added texture in the background. Simple, but I enjoy it. Looks like it needs the date. This is another one. Felicity Jane, same kit. I like how these are hanging up here in the corner. I think this was probably a scrap lift from somewhere, but I mean, you guys have all seen the diagonal, triangle thing, so that's nothing really new. So, yep, got that one done. This one was using up an Echo Park. So before October, I went to Creating Keepsakes. I did go to Creating Keepsakes in last October. And before I went, I put together a bunch of sketches with a bunch of photos. And it really was so nice having all of that together because I knew what to work on. I knew what sketches to expect. I got quite a bit done. This one even is kind of different for me, which I just went ahead and went with it. But if you notice, there's like green background here and brown background here. So I didn't have enough to cover both when normally I would bring it across. But I decided to just go with the flow and do two different ones and then bring it all together with the end and the orange. So it kind of just worked out perfectly and I'm really happy. But this is a super old Echo Park collection. Wonder if it's Fall Y'all. I know they used to have one named Fall Y'all or something. But yeah, so I just picked out a sketch, put the pictures. What I do is take the sketch, and I'll talk more about this later as well. I take the sketch, add my photos inside together in front of it in a 8.5 by 11 page protector. And then I'll add multiple in that same page protector. So it's with the collection that I want to use and it's ready to go, but it's not all lost in the collection, if that makes sense. Because I used to just toss them in with all the collection and stuff. And then there'd get to be scraps and then it kind of basically get lost. So I just went ahead and started doing that. And like I said, it worked wonders, but I'll talk more about that in the future. So this is, this must have been a Make With Me Monday, possibly. I did kind of maybe my own thing a little bit, but basically these banners are all sewn on the top. They are lifted up a little bit, but I mean, you could even make them so they flipped and there would be more pictures inside. But I just kind of did this one as a little bit of fun. This is the Paige Evans collection. Sorry, I don't know all the collection names, you guys, but if you really need to know, I could probably look it up. So this might have more than likely been a Make With Me Monday. This one, I'm not really sure about this one. This whole background, the color, it's not my favorite. I'm going to be honest. This was part of the Crop and Create classes. I kind of did my own thing. It's not a kit that I would ever buy. Kind of sort of followed the sketch that she did or whatever she did in the class, but like I said, really did my own thing as well. But it's done and I don't really mind it. So I'm going to leave it for now. And if, someday in the future I go back and I absolutely hate it and I have nothing else to scrapbook, then then I will redo it. But for now, I think I'll just leave it. This was part of that class as well. Get my little scraps out of the way. And I cannot remember, maybe it was Natalie D'Souza or something that put on the class. So it was using this collection, which is American Crafts collection. I can't remember. The lady who always does the swans in her collections. Anyways, if you need to know, let me know and I'll try to find it. But this was her class and I may have altered it a little here and there, but for the most part it is coming together really well. And I thought it was really the whole fairy tale thing, and the wedding. These are pictures of my daughter's wedding. So I loved the butterflies and the flowers. So I like this collection a lot better with a white background. That's probably the biggest problem with that other layout. I mean, you can just see, just real quick, it just, I think if this had maybe like a more white background, but I'm trying to not do always white backgrounds. Now this one, oh my gosh. I know this was a scrap lift. And why did I have, this was, I think, leftovers of a class from Crop and Create, or I don't know what all Scrapbook and Cards Today is doing nowadays. I think they're doing one Crop and Create a year that's paper crafting or scrapbook layouts, and then the rest, like they have something monthly with Megan Andrew that she does, but I'm not exactly sure. I haven't signed up since last year. I just realized I have too much stuff already and I need to use up some of what I have. But I know I scrap lifted this. I don't think it was from the class, but this was the collection from something. But I love how it turned out. I really love this picture and this layout. So there's that. This is actually using the same collection as I just showed you. This was another scrap lift from not the class again, but somebody had just all these, a wreath made of all these shapes, a lot of circles, and mostly the icons. And I thought I had so much icons and just a little bit of paper left over. I just love how this turned out. I think it's just gorgeous. And I thought that was a really good, that's a senior photo. So again, really old photo. This one I did, this is a Felicity Jane kit, and I had it out because I was doing the Make With Me Mondays. So I just, instead of putting it away, I said, let's just use up some of the paper. So this was a sketch, probably Scrapbook Generation. Most of the double pages are. A lot of the single pages were scrap lifts, and the double pages were Scrapbook Generation kits, or not kits, excuse me, sketches. So yeah, I really like this one. I think it turned out really pretty. Love the collection. Just kind of sprinkled everything along there. And I know I altered the sketch a little bit. I don't remember which one it was. So yeah, I'm sorry, I can't really say to that. But okay, here we go. This is sticking, they're sticking to each other. All right, this one was again from, this is using that Echo Park collection. I thought this was from Crop and Create, but maybe it was, and I'm wrong. I don't remember. Sorry guys. It's a Echo Park collection. I know that, so I can tell you that much. And just a single page, and I'm pretty sure it was a class or of some sort, because I don't think I would have thought to put the photos like that. So either that or I scrap lifted it from someone. But I really like how that one turned out. It's kind of just different for me. This was another Make With Me Monday. So the other one, wow, this is really bent. The other one that I showed you, man, it's kind of bent. I gotta get that in a page protector. The other one that I showed you of my little daughter sleeping as a baby is the same thing. The only thing I did was I basically propped up this white cardstock, which is why it's bending. And I made little shaker pockets. You can see the sequins in right there, there, and there. And just for fun, I know it's going to be in a page protector, but it's just still fun. I did glue some of the shaker pieces up above, so they would stay up above, so, you know, not all of them would fall down. But I used up more of that Felicity Jane kit, and it just really like how this layout turned out. It was just kind of a fun, something different thing to do. And these sequins came with the Felicity Jane kit. So since I had them, I thought I might as well use them. This is that collection. I'm trying to pick all these up. This is that collection. This was either, like I said, it was Scrapbook and Cards Today something, whether it was Crop and Create or one of their little mini classes. I don't know if I altered it to make it part of my own or what, but I love how this turned out. I love the little butterflies. I remember one of the teachers teaching to do the butterflies with the string. So that's why I'm pretty sure it was from them. So love how that turned out. This is another one of those using the same kit. So I'm just pulling it all together. It was kind of a combined kit. So there was a few Simple Stories, like this today was from a Simple Stories collection. And then like this background paper was pulled from a different collection. And I have no idea what that one would be. So, but I really like how those turned out. Then, yeah, so there's that class. Or I mean, and here's another one. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, because this Polaroid came with the class. So again, I took the Polaroid and layered it up on 3 white cardstocks and then the colored cardstock on the outside just to give it some dimension. And I did that with both of them. So this one's bent just a little bit, but I really like this picture. So that's that page. Now this one, I think might have been a Make With Me Monday, but I still just used scraps from the class to make the circles. So again, it was a good way to use up the tiny scraps of papers that were left and some of the really pretty. I really liked the embellishments like a lot for this collection, and that is why I just wanted to keep on using this collection. Like I could have been done with the paper and really just kept on using the scraps. Sorry, I'm gluing down that circle. It wasn't glued down all the way. But, and I know I could take the ephemera pieces and the hearts and puffy stickers and use them with another collection, but I usually when I do that, I never seem to end up going back and using them with anything. So that's why I was just like, I'm going to see how I can use this up. So I love this. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 photos on this one single page. Oh wait, did I count? Yeah, good enough. Anyways, so I thought I'd share that. This was another almost one and done. This is a Doodlebug, really old birthday collection. I have, I think, possibly one other photo to maybe use with that collection. I hope, fingers crossed, that Doodlebug or Bella Boulevard comes out, or any Simple Stories comes out with another really good birthday collection soon. I really am looking forward to the birthday. I need some more birthday collections. I basically down to scraps. So this one I did, and this is a complete and utter scrap lift of Allison Davis. She shared this layout. Hers is a lot different than mine. Well, not a lot different, but she's got different waves in the background. But I just found a cut file that would work for, you know, stitching. And that was fairly similar. She's got a lot more water splashes, but I found these really super, like 10, 12, 15 years old, like epoxy stickers maybe. I don't know what you call those. That were splashes, and they just worked perfectly, and I got to use those up after all that time, so I wasn't going to complain. But I totally scrap lifted this from her, and I just love it. And I love that photo, so that was perfect. This is back again from the beach class. Oh, what beach something? Just Beachy? I don't really know. I can't remember, but the Simple Stories class I did with Jana Eubank. And this was just another layout that she did. And I think there's more, but I seem to not see them. So maybe they're at the bottom of the pile. This was another one and done, basically. I did at the Creating Keepsakes, where I put together a sketch. That's all I pretty much took to Creating Keepsakes, was sketches and pictures and one and done. I didn't take any new kits. So it was all just, I came home with a lot of empty like containers to get rid, not empty, but I had to get rid of scraps or anything that, you know, I might want to keep here and there. But this was a Scrapbook Generation sketch, so that was pretty easy and simple. Their sketches are easy and simple. This was also from that same, the very first layout I showed you of the pool. This was just basically same collection, just the different vibes you can get from one collection. So it's the same Doodlebug collection. It was an older one, and I still have some left of this, but I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet, so I will deal with that later. But really like these photos as well. Don't remember if it was a scrap lift or not. These ones, this was a scrap lift. I don't remember who from, but I know I scrap lifted this. So same Doodlebug collection, just again using it up, getting it off my shelf and out of the way. So, you know, got other collections to use. This was the Echo Park one. That was the one and done for sure. I don't remember, but I did have this leaf die that I took to the crop with me and cut out these leaves, and I just love how they turned out. I did not stack these because I just wanted this playful little item peeking out from behind, but just so cute. I love how it turned out. This is the same Echo Park line, and this was a scrap lift from somewhere, just the 3 strips, but you see that everywhere. It's kind of been the thing lately. Love how, I just love this little mouse peeking up from the bottom. Just adds that third little tiny cluster that you need, but it's just cute and doesn't take up too much attention. So, and I really struggled getting rid of any of this stuff, but I was down to basically not much left to use at all. So this collection, I believe, is actually gone. And here's that same boy collection from Echo Park, I believe it was. That had the other picture of my son. Again, the same monkey, just different page. And I just loved it. I do have photos of my little boys as little boys left over. So luckily I can still use some of the older collections. Don't have a lot of baby boy collections. Only like 1 left. This is, I don't know what happened to the beach double page layouts. Huh. They must maybe got put away. This one, I'm not sure. I kind of like it, but at the same time, I'm not sure about it. But I had this idea just to use up all these frames, and I didn't want to put them perfectly straight because they wouldn't line up, and it would be too hard to, you know, with the smaller ones, make them straight with the bigger ones. So thought, let's put it on a wonky curve. I mean, they're kind of mostly curved the same way, but like offset, like this one's over to the left where this one's over to the right. And then this was using a Simple Stories, one of their Say Cheese, first Say Cheese collections where it was just Disneyland. Say Cheese 1, 2, or I think there was a 3. But as much as I love that collection, it's more on the cream colors. And I just can't use those cream colors very well. But I still really liked a lot of it, so I'm like, I'm just going to try this. And this was actually, my daughter got to go march through Disneyland when she was on the color guard. And I mean, what a fun experience. But I also had a ton of photos. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 photos just on here. And I tell you, I got rid of a lot. I snapped a lot of photos. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime experience. So I liked the size of the photos because they weren't really anything to really blow up huge. And I wanted to get, you know, the band with her, not just her. So, yeah, I mean, I really like it. I'm going to keep it the way it is. It's just kind of different for me. So, but I think it'll be a fun layout to have for her in her album. And then lastly, for now, this was from week number 4, I believe, of the Pattern Paper Play class by Allison Davis. So this one was just kind of squares, and I really, again, this is a super, did we decide it was like 2016 Doodlebug collection? Can't remember the name of it, even though I just used it like 3 days ago, but this was, I did pull in some elements like this sandcastle, and the puffy stickers are from like a newer summer collection of Doodlebug, but you can see the turtles basically. This is the turtle from the old collection, and this is the turtle from the new one. So like I said, a lot of their collections will really go and work together really easily. So that is the end of my layout share, and it was a really long one. But you can always speed it up if you like. And yeah, welcome back, guys. I hope that I can get my channel really going again and get back to making videos more often for you guys. So hang in there, and I'll see you next time. Leave me any comments or questions you have below. Bye, guys.